If they want to go for a coffee, pay me. If they want to go for a walk in the park, pay me. If they want to be your gym buddy, pay me to be your gym buddy. Pay me, pay me, pay me, baby. You want me to message you on Snapchat? You want me to send pictures? Pay me.
No, please tell me more about how strong and independent this generation of women is. I love listening to how much women don't need men, while at the same time they throw tantrums to extort money. I don't care whatever twisted logic feminism has mutated itself into, where shaming men into handing over money is somehow an expression of female empowerment. But the indisputable fact is that this woman and others like her who beg and guilt men into giving them money are not powerful. They're not strong, they're not independent, they are weak. They are vulnerable, they are fragile, because they exist from the generosity of men who are stronger than they are. The man has the resources, and those types of women exist more as a parasite. And surely our society has not deteriorated enough yet to the point where we consider a parasite a symbol of strength. I need you to understand something very important about female psychology. Let me introduce you to the rational pig experiment. The year was 1963, and researchers Baldwin and Meese did an experiment in evolutionary game theory. What they did was they set up a pen with two pigs, one strong and one weak. Now inside this pen, in order to get fed, one pig had to push the lever. That would release food on the other side of the pen. Now obviously, no pig can be in two places at once. So the circumstances set up by this scenario meant that while one pig was pressing the lever and releasing the food, the other pig would get to eat it. With that mechanism in place, and one pig being big and strong and the other being small and weak, what arrangement do you think they reached? If you're still heavily indoctrinated by feminist logic and their simplistic narrative of history where the strong prey on the weak, you might imagine that the big, strong pig bullied and intimidated the little pig into always pushing the lever so that it could gorge itself on all of the food. If that is your guess, then you still don't understand how within weakness there is a different kind of strength. What the researchers found was that it was the big, strong pig that pushed the lever while the smaller pig got to eat the food. Look at these results. You can see when the pigs are housed separately, they both do the labor. But when they come together, suddenly the weaker pig stops doing any work. It completely relies on the big, strong pig to exert all of the effort. Curious, isn't it? Sound familiar?
I should be getting grapes fed to me. I should be getting forehead kisses when I'm busy working. I should be told to not worry about a thing.
Where does this attitude come from? Why are women so confident, so entitled? How did they even get to this mindset? To understand that, let's return to the rational pig experiment. Let's talk about the strategic calculation that both pigs are doing here. Why is it that the stronger pig is the one that ends up being exploited? Here's what the smaller pig figured out. If it presses the lever, then the big pig is just going to sit at the food dispenser and eat it all up before the small pig can run over there and try and eat some. Or even if all of the food hasn't yet been consumed, the larger pig will use its superior size and strength to block the little pig from getting to eat any. So essentially, the little pig realizes that by pressing the lever, it guarantees its own starvation. So it decides that the best course of action is to do nothing, to not push the lever. At least that way it conserves some energy. But then why doesn't the big pig do that? Well, because if neither of them push the lever, then again it guarantees starvation. However, if the big pig pushes the lever, even though the smaller pig is going to sit at the food dispenser and gobble up most of the food before the big pig can get there, when the big pig finally does arrive, the little pig can't do much to stop it. The big pig muscles their way in and at least gets to secure a little bit of food. I know that this might seem like a little bit too abstract or sciencey, but please pay attention. There is a vital principle at play here. In the experiment, they observed that acting in this way, the big pig got to eat 1 grain of food for every 6 that was released. The little pig gets to eat 5 grains out of 6, and the big pig only gets to eat 1. Now, is this fair? Of course not. The big pig does all of the work and only gets to eat 1/6 of the food. The little pig gets to gorge even though it just sat on its ass. It's completely unfair, of course, but can you see how from the big pig's perspective, it is the rational calculation to make? It had 2 options: do nothing, conserve energy but ultimately die, or push the lever, expend energy, but go on surviving. It's purely subsistence living, but at least it gets to live. Now I'm guessing that a lot of men listening to this right now are identifying strongly with the larger pig, because this pig experiment really captures the dynamics of our society very accurately.
What the hell are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up, these men, they're doing impossible things. They're under the streets, working on the sewers, they're up on the power lines in the storms and the rain. They're keeping this impossible infrastructure functioning, this thing that works in a miraculous manner. They work themselves to death, and often literally, and the gratitude for that is sorely lacking, especially among the people who should be most grateful. They take everything they have for granted, failing to understand entirely that there's a massive infrastructure of unbelievably hardworking, solidly laboring, working class men breaking themselves in half on a regular basis, making sure that everything that always breaks works. And so a little gratitude for that is in order, and that's not toxic masculinity, that appalling phrase. It's what keeps the world going round. And if we had any sense, we'd understand that instead of doing everything at every possible moment to label what we have in the West as oppressive and patriarchal.
Listen, I'm not going to condemn the smaller pig. I know pigs are smart, but abstract concepts like fairness and justice, they seem beyond pig level comprehension. A pig is guided by basic survival instincts. It wants maximum food for minimum effort. That makes sense. Would it be nice for the little pig, who knows it can always lay down, and the bigger pig will be forced to do the labor, to occasionally take a turn, to stand up and say, hey, you pushed the lever the last 10 times. While I got to gorge myself, let me take a turn. Yeah. Like I said, that would be nice, but I don't have high expectations for pigs. Please tell me I'm allowed to expect more from a woman than I am from a pig. Especially since, unlike women, pigs do not have a reputation for kindness and compassion. Please tell me that it's okay for me to expect that even though men have always done and will continue to do the majority of physical labor and dangerous tasks, that men will continue to work themselves into the ground to support and protect the women in their lives. Please tell me I'm not expecting too much for women to help out, to feel compassion for the workload of men, for the stress of the burden of that responsibility, that women will voluntarily want to do their fair share, even though, just like the little pig, they don't have to, because we are in the same situation. Let's be honest with ourselves, men. Women don't really have to help. They hold the trump card. Like the pigs, if all men and women across the globe just suddenly sat down in a game of bluff, trying to see which one of the genders was going to move first, to see who was going to step in to save humanity, obviously, men are going to blink first. Women are never going to act before men. From a game theory point of view, if women did take all of the action and started producing all of the resources, they wouldn't be able to trust that men, as the physically stronger gender, wouldn't just sit around conserving energy and then when all the hard work is done, just come along and take all of the resources. Bottom line, it makes sense that women would do nothing and allow men to reach the rational calculation that if they want to be fed, they need to do the work and they need to allow the women to feed themselves first and then afterwards get fed. That is the harsh truth if you boil it down to black and white. So of course, it's in men's best interest to cooperate, to work as a team. That's how they guarantee the best outcomes for themselves. But the same incentive is not as strong for women. They can lay down and rest and still get taken care of, and many of them do. And let me say, to those high quality women out there who love men, who support them, who contribute and help out and show gratitude, I hope you know in my videos I'm never talking about you. I love you. Bless you for your generosity and your femininity. I'm so grateful that we have female allies. The existence of beautiful, feminine women like yourself is what keeps men inspired and motivated. Thank you. In my videos, I am talking about low quality women, which in the current generation, there seems to be a lot of.
Do we need men?
No, like, we just sit there.
Do we need men, in your opinion?
No, because they're icky.
Do we need men, in your opinion?
No. because they do nothing all day.
Ungrateful, entitled, blatantly sexist against men. What, you thought that the little pig sitting there eating all of the food that the big pig created was bad? Well, let's add on to it. What if the little pig denied that the big pig was doing any work? What if the little pig spent its time attacking and insulting, accusing the big pig of being patriarchal and toxic? I don't know about you, but I will take the little pig over a modern woman any day of the week. But of course, we can't reduce all of this simply to game theory. When men support women, it's not because they think that that's their only chance to survive. We don't live with our day-to-day motivations coming from the bottom line. So let's talk about our lived reality. What are the true reasons why men support women even when the arrangement is not fair? I'm going to spend the rest of this video talking about that. This video is not over. If you want to keep watching, come and join me on Patreon. What I post here on YouTube, these are just the shortened, abridged versions of my videos. If you'd like access to the full-length versions, come and join me on Patreon.